In this video today, I'm going to go over many of the MLB games that are on the slate today. I'm going to give you my projections and numbers, and I'm going to give you 2 free plays by the end of the video. The first game we're going to look at is the Oakland A's at the Minnesota Twins. I actually have a paid play on this game. You'll probably be able to guess what it is by the time my preview of this game is over. Joey Estes takes the mound for the Oakland A's while Bailey Ober gets the start for the Minnesota Twins. For as bad as the Oakland A's are, they have some decent starting pitching, and Joey Estes has got a high ERA, but his whip is actually pretty decent at 1.13. That means he's not putting a lot of guys on base, but he is giving up some home runs. Bailey Ober is kind of in the same boat. He has a pretty low 1.19 whip, but his ERA is a bloated 5.13, which means he's giving a lot of contact when he gives it, but he's not putting a lot of guys on base per inning. In my database, I use an algorithm which combines recent form along with season form. I have the Oakland A's batting dead last in Major League Baseball at 30 out of 30 teams, and I have the Twins batting 5th in Major League Baseball. So there's a huge advantage for the Twins in the batting. Both bullpens are disastrous. The Twins right now are ranked 22, while I have the A's ranked 27. Bailey Ober has been pretty much a disaster, but I think he can fare pretty well against one of the worst lineups in Major League Baseball. The Twins bullpen, though, is just awful. I think the Twins' first 5 money line might be a good play on here. It's not an official play, but if I had to make a lean in this game, I would take the Twins' first 5 money line. The next game I'm going to preview is the Cubs and the Cardinals. Shota Imanaga gets the start for the Cubs. He's been really good to start the season. He got blown up in one game for 7 runs against the Brewers, but since then he's come back to decent form, and he's given up only 3 runs in his last 2 starts. The Cardinals have Andre Pallante on the mound, and he's been quite bad with a high ERA and a high whip. You know, in this business, we are paid to predict the future, and Andre Pallante is kind of an enigma. So I'm not going to make a play on this game, and I'm not going to tell you how to bet this game because kind of too many factors here that are unknown, and I want as many known factors as I can possibly get to tell the future. What I do know is Imanaga is in really good form. The Cardinals have never faced him before, which gives the advantage to the pitcher. However, the Cardinals are batting 15 in MLB right now, which is right on the mediocre line. The Cardinals have the better bullpen, and the Cubs have the better pitcher. So this seems like a stalemate to me. If anything, maybe Cubs first 5 money line. But if the odds are not good, I'll just stay away from this one. Let me interrupt the previews for a moment to tell you that I'm Tokyo Brandon, and I'm WagerTalk's #1 MLB profit capper in 2024. I'm also WagerTalk's #1 all sports profit capper in 3 of the last 4 years. Nobody else can say that. I have seasons. I don't have streaks. Right now in MLB, I'm plus 115% since the start of the season, and I've doubled my client's bankroll. Go to this link below, and you can get my feature MLB play today in the Tigers versus Astros game. With no further ado, let's get on to some more previews. The next game I'm going to preview is the Angels versus the Giants. We've got Patrick Sandoval going against Keaton Winn. Winn doesn't have any experience against the Angels, but he's having a not so good season. He's got a 6.94 ERA with a 1.35 whip. Not very desirable numbers, and he has not been able to get out of the 5th inning in any of his last 4 starts after a pretty decent start to the season. Patrick Sandoval also having a pretty poor season with a 5+ ERA and a 1.47 whip, but he has really good numbers against the Giants. In his career, in 39 at-bats, he's got a 179 average against and a 674 OPS, which is really good. According to my numbers, the Angels are hitting 19th out of 30 teams right now, while the Giants are hitting 20th out of 30 teams. Given Sandoval's numbers against the Giants in the past and the fact that the Angels are hitting a little hotter than the Giants, I might think about the Angels' first 5 here, but it's not an official play. The Angels' bullpen is the worst in Major League Baseball right now, while the Giants have a pretty strong bullpen. A lot of things are give and take in this one, but if anything, I would go Angels first 5. The next game to preview is the one that everyone is chomping at the bit to see. We've got Taijuan Walker taking the mound for the Phillies, and Grayson Rodriguez taking the mound for the Orioles. Given the fact that the Phillies have the best record in Major League Baseball, I was hoping the books would give a favorable line for the Orioles, but they did not. So the Orioles are pretty big favorites in this one, and for good reason. Taijuan Walker is an awful pitcher. I mean, he's just awful. Grayson Rodriguez having a strong season. We have pretty much a zero sample size to measure the Phillies against Grayson Rodriguez, but we have a decent 48 at-bat sample size to judge how the Orioles do against Taijuan Walker. Actually, Taijuan Walker has a really good average against. He's got a 188 batting average against versus these Oriole batters and a 479 OPS, which is really, really good. My first instinct when I looked at this game was to jump all over the Orioles, but after looking at this, I think Grayson Rodriguez is going to hold the Phillies batters down. And to be honest, Philadelphia is hitting 14th out of 30 teams right now, while Baltimore is hitting 6th. Both bullpens are pretty strong, but Baltimore has the hitting, bullpen, and starting pitcher advantage. So if anything, I would lean Baltimore in this one, but the fact that the odds are not in our favor here and Philadelphia has the best record in Major League Baseball, I think I'm going to stay away from this one. If I were to make a lean in this, I would say first 5 innings under, but under 4.5 if it's 4.5. But that would be a lean, and I don't have an official play. Let's go to the Tigers versus the Astros. This is my feature play for sale at WagerTalk.com at the link below. You can grab this. I'm the #1 MLB profit capper at plus 115 in 2024. You can grab this play, but we have Justin Verlander going against Jack Flaherty. Honestly, I think this is going to be a pretty good game. The Astros are coming around after a very slow start to the season, but they're still 6 games under 500, and the Tigers are only 3 games under 500. Surprisingly, no one would have thought at the beginning of the season that on June 15th that the Tigers and the Astros would be around similar records and the Tigers would be having a little bit better record. Nobody would have believed that at the beginning of the season, but that's where we're at right now. So grab my feature play in this game by going to the link below. The next game I'm going to preview is the Texas Rangers at Seattle Mariners. We got Nate Eovaldi on the mound versus George Kirby. This is a really interesting one. I don't have an official play on it yet, but I think I might put one out in this one, and I'll tell you why. Currently, Seattle is batting 13th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball, while Texas is batting 24th. The bullpens are pretty mediocre, both of them ranking 14 and 15 respectively, and both starting pitchers pretty strong. They both, when I do my starting pitching rankings, I take all the starting pitchers and rank them, but then I curve it to 30 because there's 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and all my hitting stats and all my bullpen stats are based on 30 teams. So I want to make an exact comparison between the pitchers, starting pitchers, bullpens, and hitters. So I do it on a curve of 30. First, looking at Nate Eovaldi against the Seattle Mariners in his career. He has 58 at-bats against, which is a good sample size. He has a 190 batting average against and a 544 OPS against. He's given up only 2 home runs in those 58 at-bats. So I think Eovaldi should be able to hold down this Seattle lineup, even though they're batting 13th out of 30 teams. Seattle's kind of caught a spark recently. George Kirby is a great pitcher. He's got a 102 whip, and Texas is just in a major quagmire as far as their lineup is concerned. They're in the bottom 5 of all of Major League Baseball in hitting, and Kirby, with a really good sample size of 101 at-bats against, has a 228 batting average against and a 557 OPS, which is minuscule. So in this game, I think the DraftKings first 5 under 4.5. You can alt the first 5 total to 4.5. I think that would be a good play. I don't see these two lineups scoring 1 run per inning in the first 5 innings here. So that is one free play. The Rangers Mariners first 5 under. Alt that up to 4.5 and take the under in the first 5 innings. The next game I'm going to preview is the Royals and Dodgers. And it's not really a preview because I don't have an official play on this, but I want to tell you why you should stay away from this game. Seth Lugo is having an amazing season, but he's pitching a little over his head. I don't think he's quite as good as he's been pitching lately. And as I said earlier in the video, as we're trying to predict the future, we want to have as many knowns as possible and as few unknowns as possible when we're doing our capping. Yamamoto, this is his first season, a little bit unknown. He started out of the gate getting smashed by the Padres in Game 1. Since then, he came on really strong. Then he hit another little bit of a road bump there. But in his last 2 starts, he has only 1 earned run, and he's coming on. But to be honest, I really don't know what to expect from Yamamoto. He's pitched more than 100 pitches in 4 straight starts. Unfortunately, the outs recorded for him is 18.5 in this one. And given the fact that the Royals are hitting really well, I don't feel comfortable taking that. And I don't really feel comfortable taking Yamamoto's strikeout prop either because I think it's set too high. Seth Lugo's having a great season against the Dodgers in his career. He has 69 at-bats against not the greatest numbers, a little lower than mediocre at a 261 batting average against and a 764 OPS against. Both of these lineups are top 10. I have both of them ranked 9 out of 30. They're tied at 9. Both bullpens are top 20 bullpens. And both starting pitchers are solid. So I see these two teams kind of a mirror of each other. So I don't really want to play it either way. I would not take the Dodgers at minus 200. If anything, I would play the Royals in this game, but I'm not dumb enough to put my money against probably one of the best lineups in Major League history. So I am staying away from this game. The second free play I'm going to give and the game I'm previewing is the White Sox at Diamondbacks. Eric Fedde takes the mound for the White Sox, and the Diamondbacks are going to make a bullpen game out of this, putting Scott McGough on the mound. That could get a little dicey because Arizona currently has the 26th ranked bullpen out of 30 teams, and despite the fact that the White Sox are for sure the worst team in Major League Baseball, they're actually hitting 16 out of 30 teams, which is right in the middle in recent form, while the Diamondbacks are hitting 3rd in all of Major League Baseball. I see a lot of runs in this game. I think this is going to go over. If you get an 8.5, take it over 8.5. If you get a 9 or a 9.5, I would go over that as well. I think this is going to be one of those 6-4, 7-3 kind of games, and I think we're going to see at least 10 runs in this game. The White Sox are the X factor here, but like I said, they're hitting 16 out of 30 teams, while the Diamondbacks are hitting 3rd out of 30 teams. Eric Fedde has been great so far this season, but his numbers against the Diamondbacks are not very good. In a sample size of 48 against these batters, he has a 292 average against and a 787 OPS. He might be doing a little bit better this season, but I think the Diamondbacks are going to get to him, and I also think the White Sox can get to Arizona's horrible, atrocious bullpen. So the second free play for this video is going to be White Sox Diamondbacks over 8.5. That's my video for today. I kind of changed up the format a little bit. I took the music out. I got straight to the plays. So I hope you like the new format. Let me know in the comments what you think. And hit the like and subscribe button so WagerTalk knows that you like me. And I can keep bringing more free content to you guys. I'm an ex-MLB scout, and I use my MLB formulas and spreadsheets to do my capping. So far in 2024, I'm number 1 at WagerTalk in Major League Baseball profit plus 115% or 115 units. I'm also the number 1 all sports profit capper 3 of the last 4 years at WagerTalk, and nobody else can say that. So before you leave, click the like and go to the link below to get my feature play in the Tigers versus Astros game today. That's all for now. I'll be back with more.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.